The infinite banking strategy. Okay, let's talk about that. So when you first hear about the infinite banking strategy, or you're looking around the internet, you're scouring, back and forth about the infinite banking concept, and what you're going to find is you're going to hear a whole bunch of noise. You're going to find that there's going to be a ton of people who love it, the strategy, and there's going to be a ton of people who hate it. So when I first heard about the strategy almost 10 years ago, I was probably just like you. And at that time, my two biggest hangups around the strategy was, number one, I knew I could get a better rate of return out in the marketplace. And then number two was that if I wanted to access my money, I would have to borrow it and then, of course, pay interest on that borrowed money. Does that sound familiar to you? Okay, good. Okay, so what did I do? Well, instead of forming a short-sighted opinion, I went to argue the other side of the argument, so I could understand why so many people live and die by this strategy and this concept. So my first point of argument in why this is a terrible investment was I knew I could get a better rate of return out in the market. So the rate of return varies from carrier to carrier, but generally speaking, it's going to range from around maybe 5 to 6% with these policies. And while the average rate of return of the S&P is going to be more than that, and from my previous experience in real estate investing, I knew that I could potentially get 20 to 25% rate of return in real estate. So why would I put my money into something that was going to be so conservative in its rate of return? What I realized was the problem with that mindset was I was comparing apples to bananas when comparing investments or real estate deals to my life insurance, right? Two different things. You see, when I compared it to, let's say, a real estate deal, what I wasn't taking into consideration was the risk I was taking on in that real estate deal, right? That deal has risk, and I could make money, I could lose money, that real estate could cash flow for me, or it could not. You see, there's a lot of variations in how that could unfold and how it could go. And this is, of course, why it's called an investment. There is that risk. Now, with these whole life policies, they do not have risk. In fact, they're actually contractually guaranteed to grow and appreciate year over year over year. And after I understood that, I realized that I was actually comparing a savings tool or a vehicle versus an investment. And those are just two completely different things. Make sense? Okay, perfect. So my second objection was that if I wanted to access my money, I would have to borrow it. And of course, in borrowing it, I would have to pay interest on that loan as well. And I was like, what the fuck, right? It doesn't make sense, right? And I just couldn't grasp it. Like, why would anyone want to pay interest to access their own money? That just intuitively just didn't make sense. Well, luckily, I saw the other side of this coin much faster than my first objection because of my real estate experience, right? And my experience in real estate investing. Now, what people don't realize, or at least many people don't realize, is when you put your money into a policy, there is the other side of this balance sheet called your cash values. And, well, you know how you can build equity in your home and then borrow it through a home equity line of credit? Yeah, right. You're right. Okay, good. Well, yeah, when you borrow through your HELOC, you're not actually interrupting the appreciation of your home and the value of your home when you do so, right? No, your house is just going to keep on growing in value year over year over year, at least hopefully, right? Okay, so you understand that. Well, let's get back to the insurance policy, because you can do the exact same thing with the cash values inside your policy, and you can borrow against it just like your HELOC. And when you collateralize your policy to access either the bank's money or the insurance carrier's money, you're not actually withdrawing the money from your policy ever. And therefore, it's left inside your policy to continue to grow and compound for you uninterrupted, just like your house continues to grow and appreciate even though you've accessed the equity inside it. So this is where I actually encountered a new objection. And it was between the cost of interest that I'm going to have to pay on the loan and opportunity cost. You see, what most people don't fully grasp is opportunity cost, how powerful it is, and how the buying power of your money is eroded over time. right? And every time you have a dollar or $1 million and we spend that money on something, whatever it is, we may have the item or the object or whatever it is that we purchased, but likely we have given up on the earning potential on that dollar that it will ever earn for us ever again. We've spent it on that watch, that car, whatever it is, right? Now, if you have your cash run through your policy first, you can capture the growth on that dollar for the rest of your life. And moving forward, you can use the insurance carrier's money or the bank's money. You have to pay a little bit of interest, of course, but now you're talking about having your money work for you like, 10 times harder because you're using other people's money, and you still get to capture the growth on every single dollar that you've put into your own policy, again, for the rest of your life. Now, what do you do with the money once you've accessed it? Well, this is where you go and take that money and you go and put it to work. You go and get it out into the market and get those market returns in those investments that you already know, you already love, whether it's real estate, it's stocks, it's bonds. It really depends on your strategy. And if you do it right, you could potentially turn those interest payments into a tax deduction as well. And once I understood how all the pieces fit together in this puzzle, it just really made sense for me and my family. So for all of you real estate investors out there, you already understand the concept of leveraging an asset to have your money work for you in multiple ways and the potential tax advantages that come along with this. Well, this is the same thing. We're just leveraging a different asset. Does that make sense?